Never frame. Hi, friends. I'm Lexi, and you're watching Lexi's World. Okay, I am so sorry about last week. Last week was Parents' Weekend, and my dad came up, so I didn't have a chance to film because my normal filming time was spent walking around campus with my dad, being like, "Look, Dad, it's a building that I go into every day. I thought you'd want to see it." So I love my dad, I really do, but I didn't film last weekend, and I'm so sorry. So to make it up to you, I'm gonna try something to make a funny little short video to go along with this one, so you get 2 videos this week. I make no guarantees on the quality of my funny little short video. It might be funny because it's poorly made, but I'm gonna try something new. Yeah, so I promised last week in my description of my video that this week I would counteract I felt like I was being too negative last time. I was being too hard on people, and so I decided to counteract what I did last time by telling you this week all the reasons that girls should be in STEM, because there are lots of them. I lied when I said all because I don't have time for all, but I do have time for some. So I have my list. It's on my phone. It's where I keep lists, and we're gonna go down the list. Okay. Reason number one why it's great for girls to be in STEM. I don't know if this is everybody or just the people that I know, but I know a lot of girls that are just competitive by nature. And I can't figure out a better place to be competitive. I am not good at sports. I am adequate at performing, but I'm really, really smart. And so I can be competitive in an academic sense when I'm working on engineering projects and something constructive comes out of being competitive. So I find this is a great field for competitive girls. And it's I'm not saying you have to be a competitive girl to be in this field. I'm just saying if you are a competitive girl, this is something that you want to look into to be in the STEM field, because it you can do positive things with a competitive nature in a field like this. So that's my first reason. Um, my second reason: chances of success in the future are high, because in the STEM field right now, you're being trained to do things that don't exist yet. You're being trained for jobs that don't happen right now. They're training you to design and build a technology that nobody's even realized they need yet. They're training you to they're training you to look into problems that nobody has realized are problems yet. So it's there's so much going on that success is success is almost evident, because all you have to be able to do is know the process by which you can discover new things, and you go into it, and when you start to discover things, there's no way that you're not going to come up with something. The goal is to do things that people haven't done before, and we're not running out of things that people haven't done before. There's an infinite number of possibilities in this universe, and currently capable of only looking at a fraction of them. So yeah, the chances of success in this field are really high because there's so many different ways to succeed. The next thing down my list right now, oh, this one, this is a reason that a lot of people go into a field like engineering, but nobody wants to admit that it's part of the reason that they went into it. But I'm gonna be frank, you get paid. I mean, you go into a job that you really end up liking, and you get into that job and you're actually getting paid good money for what you're doing. There are so many jobs out there where people don't get paid enough. This is not one of them. So I find that to be a positive. It makes me sleep better at night, knowing that I'll be able to take care of myself when I graduate and not have to worry. That's that. The next thing on my list, number 4, somebody said it to me once, is people want to hire you. I'd like to rephrase that. People need to hire you with an engineering background. It becomes more of a not just engineering, science in general. There are so many different ways of looking at the universe and so many different ways of conceptualizing how things work that you learn about when you're going through the STEM fields that you don't even get to think about in any other field. So the idea of how to process information is so different that it makes you a desirable person to work to work for somebody. Um, Everybody wants to hire the engineer because the engineer knows how to problem solve. The engineer knows how to analyze things. Um, if something breaks, an engineer doesn't say, "Oh, it's broken," gets rid of it. An engineer looks at it and says, "Why did it break?" So that we can make it so that it won't do that next time. And this is, I keep saying engineer, that's just because I'm an engineer. This is the STEM field in general. It's a great field to go into for that reason. Because you see the world in a completely different light, and because you can see things that way and other people can't, employers need somebody like you. Just saying. Next one on my list. I think that women in the STEM field make great role models. Not just for young girls, but for everybody in general. I think they make amazing role models. I have two separate lists of people I want to be like in this world. One list is full of fictional characters from books. That's striving for, that kind of perfection that only exists in these characters because they're not real. But I like them anyway. And then the other list of people that I want to be like in this world, it consists of names like Stormy Attaway, Gretchen Fougier, and a lot of other names that you're actually not going to recognize. They're not famous pop stars. They're not movie actresses. They're not even like people who like lived and died a long time ago that you read about in textbooks. These are just people that I met while working on my engineering curriculum. And I look at the way they've lived their life and what their priorities are in this world, and I want to be like that. Just they are women in STEM who they've succeeded through they've gone through their education, they've been in industry, they're now somewhere where I can see them here at my level, here on the university level, and they're just amazing people, and I want to be like them. I have a whole list of them, and it's actually long, so I'm not going to go over the whole thing right now. But I would say another reason for girls to go into STEM is because when a girl goes through STEM, they become like these people, and that's what I want to become in life. So I hope that I can be as good of a role model as the people that I get to see around me right now. And the last thing on my list right now, I wanted to keep my list kind of short because there's a lot of reasons. The last thing on my list right now is it's really, 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 really fun. And I know that's something that you're thinking, oh, she just says that because she's an engineer. No, I really like what I do. I mean, I get to work on things that are they're mind-blowing. I explained to somebody once the reason that I went into engineering. There's actually a couple of reasons, but in my top 5, somewhere in them, I can't order my top 5 for you, I just know they're all the top 5. Somewhere in the top 5, one of the reasons that I became an engineer is, it's described as that feeling you get when you're working on something that seems impossible. Something that seems like can't actually happen, and all of a sudden something clicks in the back of your head, and you do something and everything works. That feeling of bliss you get when everything just does what you want it to do. that feeling is part of the reason that I became an engineer. I got it working. I was on a robotics team in middle school, and we would sit there sometimes for days going over the same code for this robot, trying to make it work. You go over the programming and it's not working. Try to change out the mechanical components and it's not working. And finally something clicks in the back of your head and you just see the problem and you know the solution. It takes a really long time to get to that point. It takes a really long time of documenting what you've done so far that hasn't worked and figuring out why it hasn't worked, and all of a sudden the answer is right there. I love that feeling. And I had a teacher tell me once that you only get a feeling like that when you solve a problem that's really hard. You don't get feelings like that from doing something that's easy. If you sit there and you go through homework that was easy, you're like, wow, that was easy. You may feel okay because you got it all done, but you feel spectacular when you complete something that was difficult. And that is one of the reasons that I became an engineer. So that aspect of fun, of just being able to say, oh my gosh, I just did that, I'm getting super excited. I made a quadcopter last year, which is it's like one of those helicopters that it's like in an X and it's got 4 propellers on it. I made one of those last year, and the first time I saw it fly, I was off the wall ecstatic. Of course, it crashed about 60 seconds later because something broke, but that wasn't the point. The point was that it flew and that I'd done something right. I worked on that thing for so long, and it was in the air, it was flying, it was beautiful for about 30 seconds, which is not the point. But yeah, so that was everything on my list. I could go on talking for days about the reasons that I love what I do. I probably would if I hadn't made a list to tell myself to stop when I hit the end of the list. So, we're done now, and I will see you next time. And as I said before, I'm going to try to get something else out this week that's going to be shorter, much shorter in comparison to what I normally do, and try to make it just plain funny. There is no point of it other than just to like make you laugh. So yeah, that's all, and see you next time. Alright, well, oh god, I just made myself all emotional, yo. Testing. I have to test this out every time. Blah. Wait, no, stop. I'm not gonna have much of a loop rail this time. Oh no, I'm not gonna have I don't even know what I just said. Okay. Testing for a second time. Oh, okay. I'm gonna stop dancing. Sorry. Is that everything on my list? That was everything on my list. Gotta turn this off. Cut this whole ending.